Hi, you're watching Video 101 and I'm John Crossman. Thanks for watching. In this segment and the next 10 segments, we will be covering the top 10 list of effective characteristics of a video editor from a technical standpoint. We've already gone through the top 10 artistic standpoint. There's more than 10 characteristics to an effective editor, either technically or artistically. The reason I broke it into two lists is there are people in television, in this business, that love the technical aspect of it. But that's not enough, to me to be a great editor. And there are people that are all about being an artist. But at the end of the day, they're doing it through a very technical medium, and so there has to be a balance between, technical expertise and artistic impressions and feelings. And frankly, if you don't have at least some technical chops, it's going to be difficult, if not impossible, to fulfill your artistic vision of your work, because it is so dependent and tied into technology. So the top 10 list you can see there. We're going to talk in this video about number 1, which is understanding the basic workings of a computer. Understanding RAM, motherboards, video cards, displays, and the speed and the power needed to do the kind of work you want to do. I've used both PCs and Macs extensively. I've been more of a Mac person in probably the last 10 or 15 years, but I used a lot of PCs in my time. If you have the right computer, either one will do it for you. Apple has Final Cut and Logic and a few programs in this industry that only run on their computers, whereas if you do Adobe or Avid, or you can use either platform. Vegas, I think, is strictly Windows. Blackmagic is either one. Blender is either one. Plus some of them will have Unix versions and that kind of thing too. But understanding the workings of a computer, understanding where the bottlenecks are. Traditionally, best practices have been, you have your system drive, which on Windows would be C, on a Mac would be the Macintosh HD, and that's where your program sits. That's where, the files of your projects sit. And when I say files, I mean the files that are generated as you edit, not the video and not the audio, but the actual, project files. Your licensing and, a few other things are on your C drive. Best practices are you don't want your footage on the same drive. Your computer will work better if it's drawing different things from different places, rather than trying to pull all 6 things from one place at the same time. There's a finite capacity, even though it's pretty high these days. And if you're editing in the field on a laptop, you may not have that advantage or that ability to do it. I traveled a lot over the course of my career, edited a lot in hotel rooms and behind stages at convention halls and all that. And sometimes I could bring my huge desktop, but most of the time I was using a 17-inch MacBook Pro, and my footage would be on an external drive attached at the time using FireWire 800, which was more than adequate for standard def footage. And of course, now my last MacBook had 4 Thunderbolt ports or USB-C ports. But my footage would be on an external drive. A lot of the projects I do generate After Effects renders, and so I'll have those in a different location, or maybe those plus other graphic assets. I just try to spread around the things I'm going to be using all the time, so that they each have their own way to get in to the computer, rather than everything being on one drive. The newest MacBooks are pretty impressive. You can get them with an 8 terabyte solid state drive, and that probably would be fast enough to do all this stuff. But now you want to do 4K, and you're going to have 4K renders, and so as the equipment gets better, the level of production gets higher, and it basically I just did a project in 4K on my however old computer, to a 7-year-old computer, and it worked. I could not well, I could, but I didn't want to edit it in full res because it just slows everything down. And so, you know, I edited it in, you know, if I was on the 4K project, I think I was at 1/8 res, which still looked pretty good because you're just looking at a little window. And I was able to edit and do effects and watch it in real time. And then when I rendered it out, you know, either in HD or in 4K, and that was fine. So understanding, you know, what you have to do your job from a technical standpoint, which is your computer, is important. So those are things you need to learn. In the next video, we'll continue our list of technical aspects of an effective video editor. And that's understanding video basics. You're watching Video 101, and I'm John Crossman. Thanks for watching.